decades thereafter. We've seen a woman president, a prime minister becoming president. We question, however, women in politics, the representational numbers in parliament, in local government, on boards of private companies, on blue chip companies. We question where the women are and how come they're not being given an opportunity, a position. And this is where we've debated with several aspects. Do we have a quota? Do we not? Would there be token? Would there just be some kind of gesture? But when we look at women representation, and we even look at the United States, we're yet to see a woman president ascending into and going into the White House, where we've seen very strong women in, for example, the American judiciary. We've seen personalities like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We've seen the contribution she has made, absolutely trailblazers in their time for what she has done. But where do you think that, how can literature contribute towards that? How can that really change minds, change perceptions? You have a book, Professor Jha, where you talk about bringing up a feminist son. How do you go about explaining that to society? We need to see this change. We need to accept everyone irrespective of gender. How do we do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. And I would agree with Shobha that, you know, you can't, that men have it really difficult as well, right? But I would definitely add to that and say men have it difficult as well because of a patriarchal structure. And I know we all hate the word patriarchy and it just like summons up a whole lot of things. But really what patriarchy means is that it's a system in which men and women and people of all genders have bought into it, right? So when you have representation on the Supreme Court, or you have Hillary Clinton coming up or anything, they sort of end up having I'm not saying this about Hillary Clinton, I recognize this is being recorded. I'm saying in general what tends to happen is that under these structures, we end up making a pact with the patriarchy, or we make a pact with capitalism and say, I'll be a good girl, give me the good benefits of playing by your rules, right? And in the meanwhile, we're also disadvantaging men who want to have a tender heart, right? So for me, raising a feminist son meant that my son should be allowed to cry when he wants to, and no one's going to tell him, boys don't cry, right? He doesn't have to be protector and provider. He doesn't need those burdens upon him. He can learn how to be led by a woman. He can learn when to shut up, when to apologize, when to get out of the way of a woman who might be better than him. Right? So I needed him to learn all those things because it's good for his humanity. You know, there's research that shows that men live longer lives and live healthier lives if they actually subscribe to feminism. And feminism doesn't mean it's only about women. Feminism really means it's about recognizing the equality of all genders. So for me, the only kind of feminism that should exist is intersectional feminism, which basically means you cannot be a feminist if you are not also fighting for trans people's rights. You cannot claim to be a feminist if you're not recognizing the genocide in Palestine right now. You cannot be a feminist if you're not recognizing that men are disadvantaged or men have pressures against them. So we can go on forever and I want to stop now, but I think there's all these intersections that we need to be aware of.
Suki, in your book, it's a historical novel, I would like to term it that.